I'm Flagler County Sheriff Rick Staley. I appreciate your patience as we work this incident scene along with trying to work around the weather. Last night at about 8 p.m., the Sheriff's Office received a call about a missing aircraft. Its last known location on radar was in this general area in the Lake Diston area. Deputies immediately responded. We requested assistance from the Volusia Sheriff's Office helicopter unit, and it began a search. We had a pretty big area to search because we didn't really have an exact location. It dropped off the radar at about 900 feet high, and we were told it was descending rapidly. Through the investigation, we determined that the aircraft had left Sebastian Municipal Airport on its way to the Palatka Municipal Airport, and it was a 2012 Cessna 208 Caravan, which is typically used in parachute jumps. And it's our understanding from the investigation it was planned to be used the following upcoming week for parachuting skydivers, if you will. The aircraft was leased from Eagle Air Transport. Their home base is in Chicago, but the aircraft in this particular case was had been moved to Sebastian Municipal Airport. They lost contact with the airport or the aircraft about 7:30 p.m. We were notified at 8 p.m. and it left the airport in Sebastian at about 5:30 p.m. Just a little after midnight, we located the aircraft. It was pitch dark last night. There was no moon, a lot of cloud coverage. I was here last night. It was about the worst conditions you could imagine to try to find an aircraft. And how we found it based on the general area of the aircraft, what um, Jacksonville authorities indicated on their radar was we started walking actually this area and noticed the smell of fuel. That allowed us to have the Volusia helicopter pointed in a smaller area, and they spotted one of the tires. Deputies went there, and basically this plane is unrecognizable from the impact into the ground. It does not look like, and I'm certainly not an FAA investigator or NTSB investigator. FAA just arrived here. NTSB will arrive along with Cessna people later this afternoon, as we understand it. I'm certainly not an investigator, but it does not look like there was much of a glide path when it impacted. It was more of a almost a straight down impact. Our CSI unit, our major case unit, has been here, but our role in this really is to contain, photograph the evidence, and turn it over to the FAA and NTSB for their investigation. I can tell you this aircraft was a 10-seater, but the only person on board, as we understand it, was the pilot. We are not, the family has not been notified because the individual has not, identity has not been confirmed. And we will probably be out here for the next 2 to 3 days. As you can see where the lights are behind me is our internal staging area, and where the aircraft actually went down is about another 800 feet into some dense wooded area. Our emergency response team was activated to try to clear a path so we could get to the aircraft. I would describe this as a recovery mission at this point, and it's going to take some time to do that. Be glad to take any questions. I covered it all.
Yeah, you did a good job of covering everything. My only question was going to be about how many people were aboard, but you answered that.
I would say that after it dropped off the radar, air traffic controllers did try to raise the aircraft. There was no contact. Um, we had been given a phone number for who we believe was the pilot. It had no contact there either. And so we extend our condolences to the loved ones and the family. But again, it's very unlikely that there's a survivor based on the condition of the aircraft, which and I would suspect family members know who's missing, but we don't want to confirm that until we have a positive identification.
Any preliminary information on what could have led to the malfunction at this point?
Well, when a private plane, if you will, goes down, usually one of the first things that you look at is fuel. But we know, and I was back there a little while ago, there was plenty of fuel on board based on the smell. And we have Florida DEP here also for any contamination of the soil. So we know it had fuel. We were told that it filled up to the max fuel before it left Sebastian. Could have been a mechanical issue, could have been a medical issue. That's really up to the FAA and NTSB to determine. And as you know, those investigations take months. And the way this plane is destroyed, it's going to take some time. These smaller aircraft do not have like a black box, so you have to look at the technology that's on the plane, just like in your car. The computers and stuff, they can tell you. I'm sure that the investigators will look at all the radar trajections, those kind of things. But it really be speculation on my part, but I think you're going to find it's a medical issue or some kind of incident involving the aircraft technology on board.
So male pilot was the only person who was on board of this.
The pilot was the only person that we believe was on board. I haven't identified his sex either. I guess I just did because I said his sex. But again, until we can properly identify, and that's going to take some time.
What kind of wreckage is still out there? I mean, you said that it's in pretty bad condition.
There is a debris field
Mm-hmm.
that's fairly significant, but our public affairs office does have photos that he is going to send to you when we're done here. Two of those photos that you'll see, it was from last night when we first found the wreckage, and two from today when we had sunlight. Basically the same photos, but you just see the conditions where this craft went down.
Was there a fire or anything, an explosion that seems to have...
There is no indication of any fire. There wasn't really an explosion like a bomb would go off or anything like that, but because of the speed of the impact, there's a debris field. All right. Well, thank you very much for coming. As we have updates or the FAA and NTSB, they may do a press conference or an update later this afternoon, but they are flying in. Because of the Daytona 500, they couldn't find flights, so they're having to fly into Orlando and then drive up. So by the time they do that, they're probably getting some traffic around Daytona too. So FAA, as I mentioned, just arrived. They're surveying it, but I don't think this is the lead investigator that arrived. I think it's a backup. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.